Hello and welcome. Marks and Creation was an intriguing episode. When I first heard about this episode, I was actually interested to see what it could be. When I first read, it was one pony or a colt who didn't want to get his own cutie mark. And since the cutie mark crusaders, they tried to find their special talent for over almost a few seasons. But to even hear about a one pony didn't want his cutie mark for one reason. Because, well, at the beginning of this episode, we'll go back to it. I will tell you more about this cult just a moment. At the beginning of this episode, the Cutie Mark Crusaders are helping a filly to get her cutie mark. But they are all frustrated that they can't help her, and since there are many others want to also help their help. But they couldn't help all of them at the same time. But then Everblood remembers that her sister used to be at summer camp. So why couldn't they start something similar to help other fillies and colts to get their cutie marks? And that was actually a good idea, since they couldn't help one filly or colt only at the same time, and only at once, but open some sort of summer camp to help others too was actually quite interesting, that's it. And even to see Founder Lane has been more a speaking role in this episode. I was actually quite interested, and even to hear that he was now a full member of the Wonderballs, I was actually excited, since in one episode before, Newbie Dash, then that was the only episode when Rainbow Dash became a full member of, well, the Wonderballs. But since Founder Lane is now a full member, who else has then left of the Wonderballs? Since Thunderstrike or Firestrike left the Wonderballs to become a teacher of all time. So then Rainbow Dash became his replacement. But who did Thunder Lane replace in the Wonderballs? They were not the Spitfire, since she is the captain of the team. But even to see his brother, Rumble, he has now also not the speed line. And to see the personality of Wonderballs of Thunder Lane and even Rumble was actually nothing I would not expect to see. And even to see that Rumble tried to hide that something was wrong with him, but his brother then put up into this camp with the rest of the Wonderballs, or with the rest of the calls and fillies who needed to help to find their special talent. And the same filly that the Cutie Mark Crusaders tried to help at the beginning got her cutie mark on the first day. Normally it takes, I don't know, maybe a little longer, but that was actually a cute moment. I think this episode has this really deep mention about, especially when Applebloom mentioned her nightmares became that she was worried about her special talent could be, since she had several cutie marks. And even to see when Rumble told, well, at the moment, back at that moment, and Rumble tried nothing to find his cutie mark at all. Everything he tried at the campus, at the field, he just tried nothing to do. He didn't try to make it happen. It's like he was sabotaging for himself. But then he told her he told Applebloom, Cutie Sweetabelle, and Scootaloo that he didn't want his cutie mark at all. When I first heard that there was a colt or filly that was a pony who didn't want her its cutie mark, I did not expect to see it was Rumble who didn't want his cutie mark. And why wouldn't he even get his cutie mark? Then he explained that he didn't want that because he thought that get a cutie mark would like force a pony to focus only on that special talent for the rest of their life. But the cutie mark crusaders, they try to tell him that even if you have your own special talent, you can do anything else, even like if you don't have that in a special talent. Like if you were like say an author, but also has a really great singing talent, like Big Mac. He's a farmer, but he is part of the Ponytones, and he has a great singing voice. That proves, even if you have a special talent, it doesn't matter if you have more other interests as well. But even to see Rumble tried over to telling his friends that he didn't want to have any cutie mark. At some point, he actually made the others at the camp not to get the cutie marks. He tried to tell them that it was some sort of like a prison or something traps them into only one talent. But Cutie Mark Crusaders, they tried to help Rumble to get over that, but he didn't listen. So they almost give up on that to help him until they have an idea. Thunderlane. They told him about it, and Thunderlane he then told them that since he became a Wonderbolt, his brother would try to do anything to be like him, flying like him, well, almost like anything about his brother. But even that, most of his friends at the camp were trying, they were getting bored. They wanted to do something to get not to be so bored. But Rumble tried to get them stop not to do anything. But then they tried it. The Cutie Marker Cedars then called for everyone back to the camp, and they had a special surprise for him. Then they showed Thunderlane, with help from him, to get to spend a whole day with the genuine Wonderbolts. And the other campers, or if you have the cults, they were actually interested and were really happy to spend a whole day with a Wonderbolt. But Rumble, he was not at the same time. He was quite mad and angry with the others, not to follow his teachings. But to the end, he gave up. And when they told that they had the same kind of track on the camp, which is similar to the with the Wonderbolts on the next performance, but on the ground, of course. But Rumble, he asked his brother, he saw his brother was cooking, and asked him if he was not going to do the track. But Thunderlane said he didn't want to, because even he is a Wonderbolt and his cutie mark says for speed. But he said he really liked to cook. Rumble was actually also surprised to hear his brother liked to cook, even he's a Wonderbolt. Then he asked when he started to do it. And Thunderlane explained that they had to take turn to make dinner or meal at the Wonderbolt HQ. And first, Thunderlane didn't want to do it, but after a while, he liked it and started to cook even more. So I can understand why Rumble didn't want to have to, he's afraid to have a cutie mark. I can understand why he was afraid to be thought that he's going to be trapped in one talent for the rest of his life. Even his biggest dream is to be a Wonderbolt like his brother. To be a Wonderbolt is his biggest dream, but since he thought if he got a cutie mark that is not part of the Wonderbolt, like if he's going to be, like say, a doctor, and he wanted to be a Wonderbolt, but he could be the both at the same time. Even he's a Wonderbolt, he could still have his doctor skills as well. Even he went to a doctor study, became a doctor, and even became a full part member of the Wonderbolts. Those skills as a doctor can one day become really good in hand if something happens to his team or any others. So Rumble's fear for to get a cutie mark is actually quite genuine. And I almost understand why he is afraid. If I was him and I thought, well, I'm going to have the same cutie mark of being trapped in one talent. Even you don't, but that doesn't matter. And the point is, if you have a cutie mark trapped in your special talent on a cutie mark, it doesn't mean that you're trapped in just one special talent. You can still do many other interesting or hobbies, for example. Even like, well, Apple Bloom, for example. She has helping sometimes Sakura with making potions, long before she even got her cutie mark, and she belongs to a farmer family. But she actually, before they got her cutie mark and her friends, they tried anything to get one. They were like focused to get their cutie mark no matter what they tried. But all they tried failed. Nothing. No cutie mark. But until to the end, then after they got them, they decided to help us. So in this episode, it was actually quite impressive to see that Cutie Mark Crusaders form a day camp, sort of summer camp, to help others to get their cutie marks. Which actually is an impressive idea, because helping one filly or colt in one day to get this cutie mark, since many want to help, that would take months, even maybe a year or some longer to get to help one filly or colt for each day. But open a summer camp for help as many others as it could actually improves their help to help others to find their special talent. Even they don't know exactly what they're good at. Even they are good in one area of talent, but it doesn't mean they want to go to get their special talent in that one. If a filly has will like to bake or making cookies or something, but it doesn't matter if she didn't got a cutie mark in baking or cookies or something. She can go get her cutie mark in singing or writing or even painting. It doesn't matter if you have one area of hobby that you really like. You could get a cutie mark in a different area. But even to see the cutie mark, just to see the cutie mark crusaders to help Rumble and the others to notice that it doesn't matter if you have a hobby, if you like to do something and then you don't get a cutie mark in that. And since Rumble thought got a cutie mark is like you've been trapped in the same talent for the rest of your life. But it doesn't matter. You can still have any other talents or hobbies you're interested in, even if you have your cutie mark, not in the same area. Many of the other opponents in the series had their cutie marks long before they even fought, especially the main six. They had no idea, for example, Fluttershy, she didn't have any idea how to get what her special talent was. But then she realized that she could talk to animals, which got her cutie mark in 3 butterflies. Rainbow, well, that's not a surprise since she loves her racing, competition, and even flying speed, which got her cutie mark as light as her cutie mark is. And even Twilight, not such a big surprise, she loves astronomy and even magic, which shows her cutie mark. Even like Rumble, he didn't want his cutie mark, he tried anything to avoid it. Well, but to the end, he realized even his brother is a Wonderbolt and he has cutie mark for fast speed, but he likes to cook. So he realized it doesn't matter if you have a cutie mark, you still could do other things even if you don't have the talent in that area, or even have a cutie mark for it. So he then understand. He told his friends that he would be back, and they were happy to see that. Rumble then realized that even he didn't got his cutie mark as what he wanted. And what do I think of this episode? Well, I thought this episode has this really, really interesting, this good storylines, the basic of fear to be trapped in one special talent is actually quite interesting for the writers. To focus on that part of the story is actually interesting. And even to see when the Cutie Marker series started this camp to help others to get their special talent. That part of the story was also quite interesting to see the writers really focused how to make this episode. And even to see more interaction with Thunderlane and Rumble. Those characters was actually interesting. They were actually good in this episode. So what will I give this episode as a rating? Well, since they were actually quite good at it, so I will give it at least, see now, A minus. And yeah, would like to say, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, this is Swedish Diablo over and out.